I think for a long time, I was chasing what I thought impressed other people and made other people happy. And I just realized it wasn't enough. The year I hit 2 million was the year I was the most miserable.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't enough. So I had to get really clear about what mattered to me, what made me happy, what was success for me. But I didn't just wake up and make that happen, right?
Thank you so much for saying yes to this. And this is really cool. So for everybody watching and listening, we are at the Craft and Commerce 2025. And I put this post out in the community and I was like, does anyone want to come be on my podcast? Like, this is fun. So Hannah, thank you so much for saying yes to coming and chatting with me.
I'm a huge believer that if we don't put the ask out there, you never get to create it. So thanks for creating it.
Yes. Yeah. So are you a podcaster yourself? Do you do a lot of podcast guests? Like, tell us about you.
Yeah, definitely lots of podcast guesting. There's probably a podcast host in my future, but I'm going to be pretty nomadic for the next 15 months. So probably after that.
Okay, awesome. So tell us about what you do. Like, you came to KIT, or maybe you came to Craft and Commerce with a specific goal, idea, vision. Like, what brings you to Boise this year?
First of all, I love Boise. It's a great space. I've never been before, and I love it as a city. But I came to Craft and Commerce because for 12 years, I've been running a production company.
Awesome.
And it's like B2B. We work with Fortune 10 brands. It's a multimillion-dollar business. Very proud of what I've built. And I'm ready for a pivot.
Okay.
And so about a year and a half ago, I started getting curious about what would it look like to have a personal brand, because the company I built with the company's name. For context, my personal Instagram was on private 15 months ago.
Gotcha.
It was very much about the business's brand and not anything about Hannah Soto as a brand. And so getting ready to transition out of that company and now looking for work that's a little more fulfilling. Gotcha. And have discovered that with coaching, both coaching creatives and entrepreneurs, but also building up coaches and running a cohort for that.
Okay, awesome. And this is so funny. Like, in real time, y'all, like, Hannah and I are getting to know each other. Like, I didn't go and do a deep dive on you like I normally would for a podcast guest. And I don't know if you did the same with me or if you had any idea. But, our audience, we really speak to creators, people that are podcasters, YouTubers. They're trying to figure out those systems, those processes for just creating with confidence and really staying consistent in whatever consistent means for them, right? Because it's different for every person. So knowing now that you have a history of production and everything, like, tell me more about the nuance, because production, right? That could mean so many different things. Yeah. So for you specifically, like, what is the production piece look like?
Certainly. So our company is trusted by Fortune 10 brands to create the ads that we see every day.
Gotcha.
I hosted a meetup last night and I just finished my introduction and there was a TV in this main room and I was like, oh, and actually that's my commercial.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible.
It's fun.
So for you, what's the draw to it? Do you like the creative piece? Do you like telling a story? Like, what's the piece that is really kept you coming back to production?
Certainly. So I originally started because I saw a gap in the way that people were treated as content was being created.
Yeah.
And so I started my company because I believed that no matter your title, you matter, and that you should be treated the same as the person at the top of the call sheet.
Gotcha.
So that's why I started the company. Like I said, it's been an amazing 12-year journey, and it's no longer fulfilling to me. I've realized I really love building things, not maintaining. And so here at Craft and Commerce, I'm excited to build a community of creators, of people that are owning their personal brand, that are creating content and ideas and programs and community for like-minded individuals.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you were saying, 15 months here, 15 months there, like you have a timeline clearly laid out. So what is kind of that vision? Like, what can we expect to see? Because I'm absolutely going to tell my audience, like, you got to go follow Hannah's journey and see what she's doing. So like, do you have that kind of figured out? Or are you still in the process of figuring out what that looks like for you, Hannah Soto, the brand?
Yes. Well, if you would have met me as a 10-year-old, I would have had a 5-year plan.
Okay.
So I definitely have one now. I'm selling my company. So I'm making a big exit. And then are you familiar with the Camino Santiago?
No.
Okay.
No, tell us more.
So it's a pilgrimage that starts in France, 550 miles to the coast of Spain.
Wow.
So my husband and I are walking that. And then we'll spend a couple months in Europe playing around. And then we've picked 4 cities that we're auditioning, because I live in Chicago now, but I'm moving in 78 days, settling everything. After the Camino, we'll audition 4 cities, live in each of them for 3 months, and say, does this feel like home? Could this be where we move?
Oh my gosh. Like, this is so incredible.
It's really
And
fun.
I love that you have kind of the dynamic didactic approach to, you have a 5-year plan, but you can also be spontaneous and
Absolutely.
be like a nomad,
I
because
just plan the spontaneity.
like, that's so incredible. But it's so incredible because that's me. I'm like, I always have a 5-year plan. And
Yeah.
I look at people like you that can be super spontaneous. Even coming here, my brother is extremely spontaneous. And I just was like, you know what? I've had this trip planned for months. And I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. I have to get up at this time and I have to do this and I have to do this. And then I was just chatting with him and I was like, yeah, I'm going to Boise because I'm the same. I love this town. I love city. It's a city, but I love it so much. And I was just like, hey, do you want to hop on a plane and come with me? And I knew that it was like a 50-50 shot. He did not come.
Okay.
He did not come. But I just am like, oh, but he could do that. And I don't have that like, let's just go. I think I have more of like I don't know if I'm scared, but I think there is a piece of that like fear in it. So if there's someone that's like that too, if they want to adopt this more spontaneity or being more spontaneous in their life in some way, do you have any advice for that?
Yeah. So actually, as a coach, I spend a lot of time talking about fear because most people's default is choosing comfort, which I really believe is driven by fear because we don't know what's in the discomfort, right? People would rather be unhappy than have unpredictable. And so I think first you got to get really clear about what you want because there has to be a vision compelling enough to endure the unknown, the challenge, the uncertain, right? And so the Camino has been on my bucket list for actually over 15 years. And I think for a long time, I was chasing what I thought impressed other people and made other people happy. And I just realized it wasn't enough. The year I hit 2 million was the year I was the most miserable. Yeah. And it just wasn't enough. So I had to get really clear about what mattered to me, what made me happy, what was success for me. And it's walking the Camino. It's designing my life. But I didn't just wake up and make that happen, right? So it's, if you feel unhappy, if you feel like fear is driving your decisions, what would love look like? What would curiosity look like? If you think about yourself, like it's June 2025 now, if I were to call Hannah in June 2026 and she was committed to love and curiosity and growth, and she said, Hannah, she's calling me present day, like you would not believe what our life looks like. What would she say? And then build a vision to become that person.
Oh my gosh. Like I don't know if anybody else, like I feel that one, you were made to be a coach. Like, so I want to give you that compliment. Like it's not just a fluffy concept. Like it's practical and it's real, but it's also, I love the idea of like future casting or like, I do this all the time too, where I'm always like, oh my gosh, my current self is thanking my past self for getting my butt up, even though I didn't want to get out of bed today, or making that like, this is uncomfortable to talk to this like really big creator in this space, but you know what? I'm just going to go do it. And I just think that that's so awesome. So thank you so much, Hannah, for sharing all about your journey. Do you have time for just a little bit more? Okay. Cause we were trying to set this up to where I was like, okay, we can keep these interviews short, but I do have 3 questions and I should have prompted you. These are not hard questions, but we do these rapid fire questions with all of our guests. And so the first one is, what piece of advice would you give to a brand new creator, podcaster, someone that's putting themselves out there?
It's a great question. This is me answering for it within my value system, right? But I would be more committed to play than getting it right. I would not be so focused on I've got to nail exactly it because, again, fear is driving that decision. I can say I want to define my clear audience. I want to build this valuable product or service. I want to fill this gap in the marketplace, but to pursue that vision with a mindset of play versus perfection and right. And if you start to hold it too tight, first of all, it's not enjoyable. It's not fun to live that life, but I think it would certainly show up in the content you create as well.
Yeah. Okay. This one is so good. Well, This next question, it's going to stump you because it stumps everybody. So I'm warning you now.
Challenge accepted.
Okay. All right. So it's a 2-part question. What is the dream podcast you would love to be on?
Great.
And who is the dream guest you would love to interview?
Can answer both right now.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
So I would love to be on Diary of a CEO.
Okay.
And I would love to have Michelle Obama as a guest.
Oh my gosh. See, like you had those loaded. They were in your pocket ready to go.
I live in vision. So
I love it. I love it. Okay. My last question is, do you consider yourself a perfectionist?
So I actually use the word recovering perfectionist.
Yep.
So people talk a lot about sobriety in like substance. I actually talk about sobriety in emotion. What does it look like to make a decision emotionally sober versus emotionally drunk? And as someone that is a recovering perfectionist, recovering people pleaser, I have to be as in touch with my sobriety as someone that is sober from substance.
Oh my gosh. This is so good. Hannah, we were destined to meet today. Like, I'm so grateful. Like I said, so this is just a reminder for everybody. I just put myself out there and I was like, hey, does anybody want to come hang out with me? And of course, I was really nervous that no one was going to take me up on this offer. And then I saw your DM last night about like, hey, like, where do we meet? Like, what are the logistics? And I was like, oh, Hannah and I, we can be friends. Like, we can hang out together. So thank you so much for putting yourself out there and joining me on the podcast today. Yeah. This was so fun. Where can everyone connect with you and learn more about your journey? Are you going to document what you're doing in the UK or Europe, like all the different places?
I am. So you can find me on Hello Hannah Soto on Instagram. And it is, I am going to have some content created during the journey. I'm working to find the balance of I don't want to be completely unplugged, but I also don't want to, live blog the whole thing. And my husband, who's doing it with me, actually, he does not have any social media, writes everything, like has a typewriter. Yeah. And so wanting to balance, it's an experience for the two of us. So certainly will be some content. I just haven't figured out yet how to balance both of our visions. Okay. Well, I mean, you heard it here first. Like, stay tuned. Yeah. More to come from Hannah. But thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you for having me, for creating space. Really enjoyed the conversation. Yeah. Awesome.